Question oral, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
To have you back. Hopefully we give the government and not you a hard time today. Speaker, the Prime Minister is penalizing Canadians at the pumps on purpose. That's because he wants to end Canada's energy sector, and so he's quite happy when gas prices soar. The fact is, a carbon tax does nothing but increase the cost of gas and everything else. But still, the Prime Minister wants it because he wants high gas prices, and he doesn't care that it's hurting Canadians. Isn't it true that Canadians paying excessively high gas prices is exactly what this Prime Minister wants?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the global pandemic and inflation caused by Vladimir Putin's war on Ukraine has led to rising prices across the country and around the world. That's why we continue to be there to support families with investments in childcare, with investments in increases to the CCB, with investments in supporting our seniors and our young people. But, Mr. Speaker, when the member opposite attacks the price on pollution, she perhaps forgets that $832 is what we send to families in Manitoba on average to support with the price of fuel.
Leader of the Opposition.
Well, yesterday, Mr. Speaker, we saw Liberals engage in a game of smoke and mirrors. On one hand, they're banning handguns. On the other hand, they're pushing through Bill C-5, which tells criminals, don't worry. If you're convicted of a gun crime, you just hang out at home for your sentence. This is not keeping communities safe, and it is not reassuring to moms and dads who are worried about their kids. So, will the Prime Minister get serious about keeping vulnerable communities safe, scrap Bill C-5, and legislate tough penalties for gun criminals?
Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, it's absolutely true that we move forward to present legislation that, once passed, will make it no longer legal to buy, sell, transfer, or import handguns anywhere in Canada. At the same time, Mr. Speaker, the Bill C-5, the legislation does not stop police from charging people with gun offences or prosecutors from pursuing convictions. What it does do is make sure criminals face serious penalties while addressing the overrepresentation of Black Canadians and Indigenous peoples in the criminal justice system.
Hear, hear. Leader of the Opposition.
I'm a mom, and I know all of us want our kids safe in their schools and in their communities. That's why I'm so frustrated with what these Liberals are doing. They're banning guns, and then when the criminals ignore their gun ban and use the guns to rob someone or commit a carjacking, the Liberals are letting these gun criminals do their time at home. How can the Prime Minister claim to be keeping people safe when he refuses to have jail time for violent criminals who ignore his useless gun bans and are hurting and terrorizing our children?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, our criminal justice reform legislation turns the page on failed Conservative policies that ignored systemic racism and discrimination. What our communities need is a justice system that punishes criminals. What we don't need is a system that targets racialized people because of systemic discrimination or sends people to prison because they struggle with addiction. This bill is another step forward to create a system that is fair, effective, and keeps Canadians safe.
The Honourable Member for Kildonan St. Paul.
Mr. Speaker, the fact is that violent gun crime has only gone up under this Prime Minister.